Dylan, you came to Feldkirch 11 years ago, retired as a player in 2022, and you got your first coaching job in pro hockey here. Now, after 2 seasons as a head coach, you will go abroad and join an absolute top team. You spent more than a quarter of your life in Feldkirch. What does this place mean to you?
A great question. It's a heavy question. It's been home. It clearly has been home. My daughter was born here. My son has lived 10 of 12 years of his life here, 11 years of his life here. It's been home. For my wife and I, one of the hardest things about leaving is that you're not just leaving a hockey club. The kids are leaving friends. They're leaving their club. Maggie and I are leaving friends, and we've kind of built a life here and a home here, and it's bigger than just a hockey coach and his family like moving. It's kind of like us as a family, like truly actually like leaving kind of what has been home. So that's definitely been a difficult discussion with the kids and stuff like that. But I think in this line of work, anytime you have the chance to grow and get better and develop your career at the next level, you should take it. And that's always been my plan, is to try to be the best coach that I can be, and to try to put my family in the best situation that I can. And we kind of hit the jackpot here, and found a way to do that.
You just talked about it. How difficult was it in the end to make the final decision to leave the Pioneers?
But yeah, it wasn't me making the decision by myself. It was our family. Like, originally it was my wife and I sitting down talking about it, and not putting that burden on the kids, thinking about what it's going to be like for them to switch schools, what it's going to be like for them to switch hockey clubs and my daughter's gymnastics, what it was going to be like for a family. And so, like anybody, when they make those big decisions, Maggie and I sat down and made the positives and the negatives. And I tried to reach out to some people that I can trust, that are, experienced older coaches, or people that have been in the game for a long time, asking them about, if I do this, if I don't do this, what does this mean for the rest of my career and moving forward? And then I had to kind of myself sit and think about leaving the project that I'm very proud to be a part of, and leaving a project that is still not where I wanted it to be before I left. To say that I wanted to win the Ice League with the Pioneers before I left is obviously the ultimate thing, but it was the chance to continue to make us like a playoff contender, a pre-playoff winner, before, it was my time to kind of go. The situation that I've been given now kind of came up 1 or 2 years before I actually thought it maybe would. But when the situation was official that I had to make a decision, it ultimately came down to that I was putting my career on a new path and a new trajectory that could do things for my family that we weren't really expecting to happen anytime soon. And we're putting our kids in a situation where they can continue to grow. I think it's always important that your family has a chance to experience new things, and this is giving myself and my career, and also my wife and the kids, a chance to grow on a new level.
You're not allowed to talk about where you're going yet, but it's safe to say it's a big name and a great opportunity for you. Is what you just talked about the thing that excites you the most, that you have the opportunity to grow with a very big club?
Yeah, a big part of it was, obviously as a younger coach, my goal is to grow and to be the best that I can possibly be. I don't know where the ceiling on my career is yet. It's no different as a player. It takes many years to figure out where you're probably going to get to. And as a coach, I'm still trying to figure that out. And this now gives me an opportunity to work with one of the biggest clubs in Europe. It allows me a chance to be around some people that I'm going to learn a lot from, to be around players that I'm going to learn a lot from. And I was in a very fortunate situation that the skill set they needed from a coach was some of the things that I've been working on the past 10 years. And this opportunity here in Vorarlberg, not just with our club in Feldkirch, but just in Vorarlberg in general, has allowed me to grow some of those skills. And so I'm very thankful for everything that's happened here the last 11 years, even when I was a player. The opportunities to start coaching where I was still playing was incredible. So, this is like a player and like a coach. This is not a lateral move. I'm able to climb the coaching ladder here in this situation and put myself in a spot where I can really go and learn a lot and try to prove myself now, like I did here, at a new level with a new club.
When you first came to Feldkirch as a player in 2014, did you ever think that you would stay for more than a decade?
Yeah, Maggie and I laugh about that all the time. We had experienced, we had lived in Italy in 2 different teams for 2 years. We'd been in Germany in 2 different teams in 3 years. And just from the age of 16, I think I don't know how many places I've lived in. And so as a hockey player starting a family, the last thing you think is that you're going to be able to kind of make a place home. And honestly, I'm so fortunate for that, is that Feldkirch gave me as a player and my family a chance to like put our roots down somewhere. And I had told them I was going to put in the work to make it worth their while. And I think that has happened. But for me, this has been such a unique situation. I don't think there's many, import players that have that opportunity. And then it also turned into this coaching opportunity the last 3 years. I think it's a very unique situation. It's probably nothing they need to make a movie about, but maybe a quick Netflix series would be cool. But it's I owe a lot for the loyalty here. I tried to repay that loyalty with work ethic the last 11 years, but this has been a very unique situation in a positive way. And now I have 2 kids they feel like Austria and Vorarlberg's home. They're German, and their Vorarlberg Deutsch he's awesome and stuff like that. So how much they got to grow here is probably the coolest thing now, just because of their age, being 12 and 10. That's special, is to see that you could do that with a hockey club, transitioning from a player to coach.
Looking back on your 2 years now as a head coach, what was your most memorable or most emotional moment behind the bench?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it was probably game 2 in the pre-playoffs last year against Innsbruck, when we finished the series off. I'm not somebody that I consider myself a pretty humble person, and sometimes probably not enjoying what's around me as much as I could be. Always thinking about planning and what work needs to be put in. And when game 2 was over and the rink was full and everybody's standing, and it happened to be kind of a let's say easier win. It wasn't super stressful in the last 5 minutes. I think those last 5 minutes of that game, I looked around and I probably forgot what line was up, and I probably forgot, what to tell the guys on the bench, because I was truly enjoying the moment, like selfishly for myself. Like I was like, this is, it reminded me of, a shootout win against Lustenau when the rink was full and I was a player, and that feeling you had it, scoring a goal in that game and stuff like that. But this is a coach. I think I've been fortunate enough to have a hand in building here as well. So it wasn't that I was proud of the game win or the tactics we used against Innsbruck in that series. It was more proud of the players that I'd helped bring in and the Pioneer project that I've been able to have a hand in from the start. It was just special to see all of that, knowing my family's in the stands and stuff like that. So it's a long answer, but that last 5 minutes of that game before the buzzer went was definitely a feeling of pride. And it's something I'll always remember.
If we look back at that season, going in one series ahead, bringing Klagenfurt 4 times to Feldkirch, 3 times, forcing them to play game 6. Was that another highlight of your coaching career so far? Because if we're honest, nobody expected the Pioneers to make the quarterfinals, and nobody expected them to force the leader of the league to play games.
It was pretty cool to see where we went from year 1 to year 2, and the fact that year 2 ended with, the one of the greatest clubs of all time in Austria, to go to game 6, the first place team, and also be a series that was like a war. It was a battle. That was hockey. That really was. yeah, 100%. There was a feeling in that series and of like, I guess, accomplishment, but it also kind of hurt because you still felt like you had a chance. Like, you know, we had a chance to maybe force that game to 7. But hindsight you can always make it sound a little bit better than what it is. I was pretty grateful for the fact that we did what we did there. But it's a question I get asked a lot the last couple of years is like, you know, what's my motivating force behind, like, after being a player to being a coach? Like what drives you as a coach? It's something you get asked kind of from younger coaches and stuff like that. And you know what, there was probably a lot of people that saw when I got named the head coach here was just like, oh, it's the easy answer. It's the easy solution. He's there. He's been there. You know, let him run the ship on the team, the small budget team and stuff like that. But it was like the motivation that year was to prove to people that like, yes, my club gave me a chance, but 2 is we're going to put the work in as a coaching staff and as a team, and we're going to have the buy-in and the family, kind of the team that we did build. And it was kind of like a, you know, I'll show you kind of thing that we also wanted our players to feel that year, but also, you know, I had as a feeling, my coaching staff had as a feeling, you know, Johannes was a new guy to the league and a young coach. And yeah, the feeling was like, we're going to show you. And at the end of that series, when I shook hands with Klagenfurt's head coach, Kirk, he just kind of says like, that, like, good for you guys. Like, that was a war. And that might, you know, that might have affected Klagenfurt's chance of winning the series the championship, because that was a tough series. So yeah, 100%. There was a lot of, that wasn't as much pride. That was more of a, like, we know what we're doing. Our team knows what it's doing. Our staff knows what it's doing. We're not the pioneers of the first year. Like, you know, we just about got ourselves in the semifinals.
If we compare this season to the last season, it kind of feels way worse, to be honest, from my perspective, but it's only 12 points. You guys collected less this season compared to the last season in the regular season. And yeah, obviously you missed the club's target to make the pre-playoffs. What's your season conclusion?
Yeah, you know what, it and I mean this in a very positive way. The season has went how we envisioned it. Do I wish that included 5 to 10 more points? Absolutely. It wasn't that we envisioned to be at this point total, but we knew that we were going to have to really, really stick to a process this year. We were going to have a brand new group to the league. We were going to have new players to Europe, new players to the league. And we were going to have some players that came back from last year that we're going to expect that pre-playoff and playoff success was just going to kind of start again this year. And so as a coaching staff, we had kind of said to our, as a staff early in the year, that we have to stick with it. Like, we can't panic. We have to stick to what we believe is going to work. And if the tactics don't work by the end of the year, then it's my fault. But we're not going to panic if it doesn't start well. And it didn't start well. I think we actually played better hockey at the beginning than we probably just got points for. We had some really, really good games at the beginning of the year that we just didn't find a way to collect points in. And if you look at that first kind of 20 games, 25 games, if we would have collected 5 more points in that stretch, you know, maybe we're tied with Vienna today. Or been going into the pre-playoffs with that, similar point total as last year. But the fact that our team came on so strong from mid-December, Christmas time, to the end of the season shows that we did have a good group. It just took us a little while to get it figured out. And maybe some of that's my fault. Maybe I could have rushed things. Maybe I could have put a sense of urgency into the team a little quicker. But we felt like at one point early in the year, in October, November, that if we would have tried to go away of what we thought was going to work, that it might have a negative effect as well. And so I'm very proud of what our group did. We were one of the best teams in the league in the last 20 games. And we had some players that really brought on their game in the second half. And I'm proud of what we accomplished. Is it the goal? No. But we put 2 teams well behind us in the standings. And we gave Pustertal and Vienna a scare. And they both had to play some pretty good hockey in these last little while to keep us from catching up. We were able to beat some of the best teams in the league on the road this year. So yeah, in general, I'm proud of what the players were able to accomplish. I'm proud of how much they turned a brand new team into a family after losing a lot of guys they cared about. And And I'm proud as a coaching staff that we kind of stuck to the process and stuck to the plan, even when we were in a dark hole of last place.
Now, if you look at the players last season and where they're playing now, I think it's safe to say that the Pioneers have become a stepping stone for both players and coaches in recent years. What are your thoughts on this development?
Yeah, I think in regards to players, it is. We've been able to put guys in situations and opportunities that allow them to show their skill set that maybe our team wouldn't have given just yet. It's common in every league. There's always going to be the teams that maybe bring in kind of entry-level players that the other teams maybe weren't given a look at. And when they see them at the league level and what they can do, it can open some doors for guys. And you do see some guys that have found some success this year and have found, new opportunities, whether financial or league or whatnot. It's worked out really well for them. And so, the last couple of years being on the phone in the off season with all the guys that you're trying to get to sign and whatnot, you spend those hours on the phone with these guys trying to build that trust that they need to believe in what the coaching staff and what the club is going to do. Because they are, in some ways taking the risk, in some ways, betting on themselves that it's the right thing for them to do to come to the ice league and prove their level of play. So I'm really happy for all the guys. And I'm really happy for some of our Austrian players that have been able to develop so strong. Oscar Meyer this year, he's going to put up over 20 points this year, and he even had a slow start. And so I consider him a guy that's slowly proving that he's a top 6 level player in this league. And Luca Ernie this year got, I've known Luca, I think, since he was 16 years old, and he just played for the Austrian national team. And so those opportunities, and what guys have done with those opportunities and how hard they work to fight for those opportunities, it's special. It's cool. And if you're going to be a team that's maybe always fighting from below, you want to have those successful wins, and you want to be able to do that. And I think for a coaching staff is being put in this opportunity of trying to coach a team that had to fight from the bottom. Our tactical plan, our approach on how other teams were going to play and how we could find success against the top team in this league, it had to be pretty tight. Like, we had to be locked in, and you had to get players to buy into that. You had to spend the time to figure out what that plan was going to be. And, I owe a lot of credit to the guys around me. This is not me at all. But those situations have made me at a million times better coach than maybe if you were coaching if I would have retired and been able to take over a team in the top 5, where you kind of give the guys a plan and then you let them play a little bit because of your talent. Those plug and play players we kind of talk about. Here, you had to get the players to buy in, and you had to get them to commit to that level of intensity. But you had to work pretty hard. And I know every coach in this league worked really hard. But it was just to a different level of, we needed to find a way that was going to make us successful, and it was going to take some work.
You were not only a player and a head coach, but you were also heavily involved in the youth development. Which projects or developments that you were part of make you particularly proud?
Yeah, that's a heavy question, because anytime you talk about kids and their development and stuff like that, and you see them growing up, it's pretty special, right? And there was a group of. It wasn't that long ago that I was running the Learn to Skate program here. My son Cooper would have been kind of 4 years old, so we're talking probably 8 years ago, where I was the coach doing Learn to Skate. And there was a group of kids out there that are now playing, under 15s, under 13s, under 11s, and you see those kids every day at the rink. You see them at the Pioneer games. You see their families, and you see, obviously, some have stepped away from hockey to play soccer, to focus on school, of course, things like that. But you see the kids that are around, and it's pretty special. It is. It's neat to see, and over the last couple of years, bringing in different junior coaches and trying to give the kids of Feldkirch different experiences and stuff like that it's been very special, very rewarding, and it is one of the things that's going to make this announcement more real is when you see those kids and those parents, people involved in the pro team understand decisions that you make to move on to new jobs, but kids and families that you've been close to and play a hand in their development, it's probably tough, probably more tough for me. They'll find another great coach to help them and things like that. So, Yeah, it's been neat. And even in Vorarlberg period, I've been able to build up these little kind of all-star teams that have traveled to Sweden and to France. And, those experiences were incredible. My kids got to be involved in them, which was obviously a big part of it, but it was really cool to be able to kind of use my platform as a player and a coach, to help, kids in the area and give them experiences that I kind of had as a player when I was growing up. Maybe mine was in small town Saskatchewan or Alberta, but they got to go to Stockholm or, different places like that. So, it's special. It's definitely something that, hopefully next year my family has a chance to come back here and watch a game and make sure the kids get to see their friends and stuff like that. So, we're going to try to stay as connected as we can. And for some of that, it's not just for the pros. It's to kind of keep an eye on some of these kids that you've got to play a hand in developing.
That's a great transition for my next question. Do you think you will, at one point, return to Feldkirch? Is, in the staff, or just, after you retire, just live here?
Yeah, it's short term, 100%. It's something that we've talked to the kids about right away, is that we want to make sure they have an opportunity next year to travel back to town. If there's a weekend that I'm free to be able to come and watch the Pioneers, there's obviously going to be a lot of people involved in the team that I care about and just want to see. So short term, 100%, we want our kids to be able to come see their friends. I would like to be able to keep an eye on the hockey and see the people that I care about and we'll miss. So short term, 100%. I expect that you see my family and myself around the rink next year when it's possible. And then in the future, it's one of the things that I told the leadership of our club, like, this isn't, I obviously, their support of me being able to kind of move on to a new situation was massive. And it was more of, this is an opportunity I have to take, and I have to take this step. But if this makes me a better coach and a better person, maybe one day there's a reason that we try to do this again. And my level of coaching's at a better place, and the club is continue to grow and is at a better place. And what better situation would it be to come back here in I don't know how many years, and to be in a situation where I'm better prepared to help the team win more, and the club's in a situation where their goal is to be the top 5 team and to try to make a run for the Ice League trophy. So I would never close the door on this community. I don't think my family would complain one bit, and it's definitely something that we would in the future obviously be open to.